I'm on this guy SHAUNATTWOOD's channel. It seems he's coming to the attention. It's so funny how these people come to the attention at the same time. Now, what happened, I haven't looked at the news for ages, and I just heard the other day that Epstein was dead. So started seeing a lot of videos coming up about Epstein, so I'm looking at that, and SHAUNATTWOOD is doing a lot of videos on that. And I thought they were quite good, and then I thought, well, hang on a minute, how do we know what he's saying? So I'm like, who is this guy, for a start? And then I saw a TED interview came up on the side, and then there was mention of a prison. And I thought, I'm going to check this guy out. So I caught his TED interview. I'm not convinced. I just thought to myself, nah, it smells fishy. How did he get off with all that prison? He was a big dealer. How is he home? I thought, well, many years did he do? Sort of thing. But then went back to the channel, had a look at another of the Epstein ones, and then suddenly I saw he's interviewing David and I thought, oh, for God's sake, here we go. Went on, had a listen. Looks like the two of them are in wheelchairs or something. That's what I thought they were, you know, those paraplegics have the big wheelchairs with the big arms and everything. I thought they looked like they were in those. So I listened for a few minutes and I thought, oh no, before that, actually, he's doing this cop that has moved to Russia. And I thought, who's he? And I thought, before I look at that interview, they said there was an interview on RT, so I thought, well, I'll watch his interview on RT first and see what he's about before I watch the SHAUNATTWOOD, because these people have a habit of, they'll do an interview for TV, not mention sod all, completely different story. Then when they come into the truth movement, they change, they know everything, they come out with all this sort of stuff. So I thought, well, I'll watch the RT one first. Anyway, watch that. No mention of Epstein whatsoever. Corrupt cop, he found some cops, he uncovered corrupt cops. He found some cops beating up some black people and putting the photos online and laughing at them. So he reported them, and then he got a lot of harassment. Nothing to do with Epstein whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever to do with Epstein. So I got really bored, and people were saying, oh, you're so good. You know, he had to leave America to go to Russia, leave his family, his kids and everything, to get away from America, because they wanted to kill him. He could have gone to Canada, I think. Could have been nearer. Could they have gone him there? Well, I don't know. Do they even want to get him? And then, you know, when you look at somebody and you're just not convinced of the personality, and they seem to be bigging themselves up, and they don't seem, you know, never mind, but not the truth, full shilling, as we say. But so I watched the RT thing. Oh, his whingy face got on my nerves. You can tell by the whingy face that they're trying to convince themselves what they're saying is true, and you get that expression, and they actually take on the role, and you can tell it's acting. I can tell anyway, straight away. So that put me off. Then I went and watched the SHAUNATTWOOD thing, straight into Epstein, and he was struggling looking for information for SHAUNATTWOOD. He didn't know anything, but he was struggling to pretend he knew loads. It was ridiculous. So that put me off, and I thought, oh, this guy stinks. So I went right off, and then I left a comment about the Davidicke thing. I said, well, you know, why don't you, what annoys me is when people get into truth movement, how the facts are all changed. There's nothing mentioned on RT about Epstein, and, you know, what's he going to say here? He seems to be struggling, he doesn't know anything. And then straight away, gang of trolls jumped on me, SHAUNATTWOOD's on the site there. And there's a big row, and I says, well, listen, if you want to talk about truth, I said, BRIANHARVEY is putting out a video about Davidicke saying, you know, there's somebody saying he was a paedophile. A lot of people might believe that. Is that true? And then, got into this big thing. And then a couple ended up coming to my channel and, you know, leaving nasty comments on all my videos and that kind of nonsense. They don't like your opinion on someone else's channel. It's got nothing to do with them. They just butt into a conversation. It's nothing to do with them whatsoever. I was talking to somebody else. He butts it, and then they have to take it further and go to your channel and and he left all these racist comments on that racist video I did the other day. Absolutely. So I keep them all withheld now and just delete them, copy them in case I need them for later on for the police, because there is an investigation going on at the moment. So my channel is being heavily monitored. So all any trolls who want to get in on the act, you're being monitored. I'll just let you know that. You know who I'm talking to. So yeah, now it's the last few days. Other people have been noticing as well. Something not quite right. It smells fishy. I'm investigating the Epstein thing, and you know who's involved, who's in that black book, who's on the list, and who's coming to court, and all this. You know, I want to know big names, and follow that kind of story. I don't follow bullshit. I want the real facts. So that's what I was researching. And then you got all these trolls protecting fucking David Icke on there. Something fishy, and people have sensed it as well. It's funny how a few of us have sensed it straight away, and even though we're coming at different angles, looking at different things, we've come to the same conclusions. Not buying that prison stuff in Arizona either. What actually turned me off was, as I said, I was watching the TED interview, and I was watching the TED interview, and when he said about his prison sentence, or about going into the rave parties and selling the ecstasy, you know, he was caught with millions of pounds worth. He wasn't a little dealer. He was a big dealer. When he said it, it was like he was proud of it, and he sort of rolled his eyes and, oh, silly me, I got into drugs, I got into the rave scene, and everyone laughed, and he sort of laughed. I thought, that's totally out of order. What's he bloody laughing for? It's not funny. And then I watched him on another interview on someone else's podcast. Forget his name. James or something. He's going out with that Danielle Westbrook, I think I heard somewhere. I think I saw. Was that the same guy? I might be mixing up, I don't know. But saw him on that, or whoever it was. And he was telling the story about being in prison, and he laughed again, like he was proud of it. Like, oh, was it just a teenage silly thing? You know, this gets on my nerves. This is no good for the younger generation, first of all. It's not setting a good example, because people do look and think, well, and then I thought, well, how did he get so big? Why are people falling for him? Why is he why are people glued to his channel and sending him donations, and he's doing books and tours and all sorts of things? And I thought, well, why is he so popular? Why is he so popular all of a sudden? And it's annoying me. That annoyed me, especially as he's, you know, silly me. I did a boo-boo when I was a teen. When I was in my 20s, I was selling drugs. Like it was just a little mistake. But it went on for a period of time, didn't it? And how did he get out so quick? I don't know, there's something funny about this. And then we've got Ike on there. So I don't know, just really, when I was watching this, getting linked to this, it just got smellier and smellier. And now other people have noticed as well, and I've seen a little couple of vids came out mentioning him, and I thought, why is everyone suddenly mentioning him now? And I thought, oh, obviously he's come to the attention of people for other reasons as well. I mean, when, you know, interviewing David Icke, okay, I watched him because I'm interested in fact. I was watching the Epstein thing, as I said, because I want the facts. I want the actual court documents, legal documents, and these facts. Not interested in what these idiots have to say, the likes of David Icke. But the point of bringing him in, he started off all again with the satanic bloodline, absolute stupid nonsense. Bringing all this satanic bullshit into it again. This is feeding these masses with this bullshit. Now, I made a comment in the comment section saying, well, you know, I wish people would stick to the truth, stick to the facts. We don't need fantasies, we need facts. We need the facts only. That's the only thing that counts. Everybody's opinions mean nothing. It's the facts that count. I said something like that, you know, stick to the facts, you know, why do you have to bring David Icke in now? He doesn't, he's not going to add anything of value. We know what he has to say. It's a completely separate thing, I think. And I made that comment, and straight away people dived on me, and I said, well, listen, I said, Brian Harvey is putting out a video saying Ike was on a boat. He's got a witness there saying it, and he was involved in the paedophile rings. And I said, is that true? Then, if everything's true about this, is that true about Ike? Nobody liked that. Obviously, all of his fans were there. I ended up just deleting my comment because I was just getting so many responses that it drove me nuts. And then they started coming on my channel and then leaving comments on my videos, and all that fiasco started again. So I just brought myself to the attention of more trolls for speaking my mind. And it looks like I'm not the only one who has questions. Why is there always a different rule for me? Oh, we mustn't let her say anything. Pisses me off. So it looks like he's come to the attention. I think it's probably because of Brian Harvey thing, and then David Icke. I don't know how he's come to the attention. SHAUNATTWOOD. I was doing the Epson, as I said, and then I just happened to catch. Then Ike was there, and I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, that put me off straight away again, because we see what happens when they bring in these, conspiracy theorists. They base all their nonsense on little bits of truth. And we know what Ike says, the little bits of truth. They all do this. They add in bits of truth and then all whole big shebang of baloney. And because there's little bits of truth there, people automatically think, oh, that bit's true. He must be telling the truth. And they automatically think the whole lot is the truth. They're very clever at this. Very, very clever at mixing in bits of truth with all the lies. So I'd say Ike has some serious agenda here, and this guy has some serious agenda here. Not convinced with his cop either. He didn't have anything. It's very suspicious, all of it. Don't like it. And it seems a lot of people are cotton onto it as well. I'm keeping up to the nose and looking at court documents and looking at the witnesses and reading everything that's out. Because I want to know the truth as much as anyone. I want to see who they're naming and who's involved and what it is as well. What's it about? We know what it's about mainly, but I didn't see any mention of satanic ritual, anything, anywhere. Just a load of dirty bastards, rich bastards think they can have what they want and manipulate the poorer people and the vulnerable again. That's all it is. Dirty, scruffy, manky bastards. And they're everywhere. Not just the men. So I am looking I do research Pizzagate and all these, looking for the evidence. I went through the WikiLeaks documents, I went through the Podesta. I go through thousands of documents. This is what I do with my time, not fucking setting up soccer cans to abuse vulnerable people, Helen baby. It's what I spend my time doing, research. I want to know the truth, what's happening on this planet as much as everyone else, and I dig deep. If there's evidence around, I will find it. If there's truth there, I will find it. If there are lies there, I will find it. If you dig deep enough, you find anything. And I've always been like that. I'm very diligent. When I get my mind on something, I cover every single thing. And this is what I like doing. I like court cases especially, and the law. And of course I'm interested in what's going on the planet. And I want to know if these are a bunch of reptilian fucking satanic, blood-eating, baby-eating things as well. Don't we all want to know? But you hear all the stories, but it's funny how all the evidence that comes out in the paper and the news, and there's people that go to court, they don't mention any of this stuff. It's only the ones on the conspiracy circuit that actually bring it up. Another witness who's never sued anybody, but they've been a victim. So, these are the kind of people who are spreading the shite. You need to go to the facts, go to the court, and we covered it up, the judges are all in and the police are all in on it. If you follow the trail, you'll find the truth. If you dig deep enough, you'll find the truth. If there's a cover-up, you'll find it. If there's bent coppers, you'll find it. I know which cases are bent. When you start digging and you start looking at it and you see how it went in court and all that, you can see the lies straight away. You'll find out. When it's just delusions, they come out too. And a lot of these truthers have prison records. A lot of them, these people on the truth, have prison records for various things: fraud, sex cases, predator, harassing, thieving, benefit scrounging, and, you know, different names, fraud like that. When you look into the background, I have looked into the background of a lot of these truthers that are doing the conferences as well. None of them are any good. None of them are telling us. They're all con merchants of the lowest standard as well. This is what I'm uncovering all the time. If you do a bit of digging, it's easy, you know, but people don't do the digging. They haven't got time, and it's, you know, not of interest. Well, you watch a video and tend to believe it. But when somebody does the real research and can come up with the truth and say, look, here it is, you know, at least people should look at that as well, which is what myself and quite a few people are trying to do. If people don't know about my own work history, my own background, qualified as an accountant very early on, and in the 80s, between 86 to about 92, I worked for a section of the MOD and Marconi. I was there when all those scientists were being killed or died, you know, in mysterious circumstances, and I knew about all this. It was very well known in the office. So I worked there for a number of years, and I have got special clearance. Well, everybody had that worked there, and we had to sign this, I don't know, God, 100 pages, documents, this Official Secrets Act, and not to reveal this, not to say this, not to do this, loads of stuff. And then I had the safe in my office because I was head of finance there. I was actually accounts manager, that's how it was, of that department. And we paid bills, and I think we only dealt with payments. Yeah, we only dealt with payments and ordering. So I would approve payments and things that people ordered. The paperwork for that would go on for weeks. You know, people wouldn't, once you would do with the MOD, you don't get paid for weeks. It takes ages. But once you get paid and it's set up, it's all in place, and it goes very smoothly, and it'll stay that way forever, even if you die. They don't. I've often, I'll go into that later. It's harder to remove it than to get it going, sort of thing. So, there's loads of nonsense going on. But anyway, I worked there for that time, and then I was a private accountant of the owner of the Boston Celtics, who spent some time in London, a lot of time in America. I was the sole, sole accountant over his 35 bank accounts. He's the richest person I've ever known. And I've known some rich Arabs. So I worked there. This old accountant had left under mysterious circumstances, and they don't tell you at the interview, because I always ask, you know, why did the other one leave, and why was the vacancy arisen? I didn't even want the job at first, but took it anyway. And it turns out she'd ripped him off for a lot of money. They thought she'd stolen a couple of £100 in petty cash. They found a blouse and a receipt for the blouse, and the blouse in her bag, sort of thing. So they thought she'd stolen money from petty cash. Turns out, when I started looking and going through everything, she'd hidden it well, not well enough. I just found out she had members of her family on the payroll and everything, giving everybody bonuses. It was mental. And then when I said to him, this is not just 100, 200 quid out of petty cash, you know, I think we're going to have to get the police. He says, well, have a look and go back and see what you can find. Went back about a year, and I found about £1 million just in a year that she was using his chefs. She'd hire Anton Moseyman and people like that to do dinner parties at her house. She bought herself a BMW, she bought herself a house. She'd say it started in August, she started stealing in September, maybe 2 weeks after she started. She saw the easy pickings. But she stayed there for 9 years, so she ripped him off for 9 years. It was millions. So I said, I have to call the police. I'm sorry, I've got to call the police. I can't let this go. He didn't want to call the police even. And I said, I cannot let this go. We've got to call the police. And I said, why don't you want to call the police anyway? He says, well, I don't want anyone to see how stupid I am. I says, they'll see how stupid you are if you don't call the police. It'll just give them the right to do whatever they want. All these staff you have working for you here have all been getting bonuses for years, £1,000 here, £1,000 there, everyone. They're all going to get away with that, and they're going to know you let them away with it. How do you think that's going to look? I said, you've got to get the police. I insisted on calling the police. I ended up doing the investigation with the police. I had to go forensically go through every single thing. It took a couple of months. But I was able to bring up everything, come to a figure, got back statements and credit card statements, all the credit cards she had in the name and all the cars she'd bought, everything. I've got everything. Everything. She got prison. And so he was the owner of the Boston Celtics. His wife was one of the members, a family member, a daughter of one of the biggest banking cartels in the world. So don't tell me they're not Illuminati, if the Illuminati exist. So actually I was going to go about the safe in my office in the MOD, I'll go back to that. Yeah, because I was the manager, I had to have the safe in my office, and all the hard copies of documents would come up to me and things like that. A lot of things were in the safe. And then they realised, well, she's Irish and her husband's Syrian and Arab. We can't have her having access to this stuff. So this big issue arose in the department. And they looked into, I had to get in a second search on me that goes into your ancestry. Fuck, these bastards look deep. My brother also was in a position I had that done as well, actually. That's another story. He had the same thing done. They came up with the same results. What was I going to say? Yeah. So then was this, they knew who my husband's family were anyway. I'll go into that next. So it was just, my manager had to fight me and say, well, look, she's the manager. This is ridiculous. You can't discriminate because of her race. She's not involved in anything. She's not involved in any dodgy gangs, IRA, nothing like that. And, so I got the second clearance. This is how I have a really deep clearance. And searches have been done on me. So they do go back in. They found one dodgy uncle from years ago on my dad's side, which is no surprise. We always thought they were dodgy anyway. His family, my mum kept us away from them. So we were dreading what they were going to come up with there, but they just came up with that one uncle was involved in some protests years ago, and that was on the file. So anyway, I got the clearance for that. So, I have those clearances by the MOD. My family, everything has been thoroughly checked. So maybe that's why I'm on the restricted list. Another story again. Yeah, so then after that, well, not after that, it was during, I married a Syrian Arab. He told me his father was in the government. He told me his father was an ambassador. That's what his father's ambassador. He was an ambassador in London, the Syrian ambassador in London. He was Syrian ambassador everywhere for a while, because they post you here, there, everywhere for 3 years, 5 years, whatever. So he was in Washington, he was in Morocco, Cyprus, London. I think that's it. There's places he was posted in his early days. But then he was involved in, there was a lot of spying, Russian women, American women spying for Israel. He was implicated. They were under his orders. His best friend was Henry Kissinger. He was friends with JFK. He was in the White House that time. He was in the United Nations, and his name is there, I've actually been helping an author write a book, and his life is very secret. Nobody knows nothing about him anywhere. And I was the only contact she found, so I've been working with this author on the book, and it's finished now. We've been working on that for about a year or two, something like that, a long time. But it's finished, and I've contributed to the whole, all that 2 chapters is all my information on him. So when I started digging into him, I found this report about the spy, the Israeli spy, sorry, it was spying in Israel, I don't know why I keep saying Russia. I uncovered that he was head of secret intelligence for over 40 years in Syria. Head of secret intelligence for over 40 years. And he would come to London regularly, He gave us the house that we lived in Kensington. He would have dinner parties. I knew all the ministers, everybody. He would invite people over. He would invite editors from the papers, the Times, Helga Graham, Patrick Seal, from the Observer, the Times, and I don't know, those political editors. They all came to our house for dinner parties regularly. They were good friends. So that was a height of fake news. He was feeding them the fake political news to go in the paper the next morning. I didn't even realise at the time. I just thought he knew everybody, and he was a government person, and that's what they do. They talk to the press. But so I knew quite a lot of people. Now, I was married into that family for 20 years. Stayed friends with him, still friends with my ex-husband on Facebook. He knows, he doesn't mind what I'm saying. He knows what his father was. He doesn't mind me saying about the family. He's never said, and he's never said a word. We still talk, we're still friends, even though we're divorced a while. I even know his new wife, we're very good friends with her. They're in Australia now, but I even looked after his baby son. He was ill and she had to go back to work, and I was actually working from home. So I looked after him from the time he was a new baby till he was about 6-7 months old, and he had to have medication. They didn't trust anybody else, nurseries or anything. And they trusted me that much to look after his baby son who was ill. So that's how close we are. And that's how much they trust me. His ex-wife, I'm his ex-wife, and the new wife trusts me enough with their most precious thing in the world. So that will tell you the kind of relationship we had. So there's all this. If anyone was near to the Illuminati and these rituals that are meant to be taking place, it would be me. And I worked for a charity organisation in London. I was head of finance there, turned the place upside down, marched a few out on the premises by the police for harassing women. I turned that place upside down and got it back in order. It's all on record. They're still there. Very strong company, very rich company. It's all on record. I worked there for 8 years and had a very strong position there. The third from the top. And they didn't like it. They didn't even like women, but I got the position by total accident. It's another story altogether. I will actually expose them one of the days, because that was big as well. It ended up in court and my solicitor was killed and all sorts. So I know these people are dodgy. I know the government people are very dodgy. I've been followed since I was 20. I didn't even realise my house was bugged. Everywhere we went, the house was bugged. And I found out, this is why I got divorced after so many years. I found out all this. Even when we went to Ireland, bugs everywhere, followed everywhere, and I didn't realise his father was head of secret intelligence, obviously then, he was in the government. I knew we did get some attention from the English government. They told us that, and they told me my phone was wiretapped and they would be listening to all calls. It's a policy to Syria. Anything going out to Syria and anything going from Syria to here was monitored as well. We would get cut off all the time if you said the wrong thing. All the time. Couldn't say hardly anything. So, I had all that. I know what the government are. I've had a lot of experience, so I do know what I'm talking about. Anyone would have been near to these people and seeing anything like this, I would know about it. Trust me, I never, ever, ever saw anything. Saw a lot of greediness and pompousness and arseholeness and greediness. Saw a lot of that, yeah. Rich people are very greedy, and the more they have, the more they want. The meaner they get, I found. I know a lot of rich people. I know a lot of the Arab royals. We knew Saddam Hussein's family and sisters. His family are really big, and a lot of them live in London, and very good friends with our family. My sister-in-law worked at the Kuwait embassy for 30 years, and then when she left there, she worked at the Egyptian embassy for 10 years before she died. She worked from years since we knew each other. I got married in the 80s. And lived in London near me in Earl's Court, so we were very close, me and her and her husband. He worked for the royals a lot, the Saudis and all that would come in, the Kuwaitis. So we had top information from during the Kuwait war, all that was going on, because she worked there. So I know a lot of political nonsense that was going on. I know all the bad press and the lies. We could see it day by day because I had these connections. So I know a lot of things if people would care to listen. And from the horse's mouth, I was right in there among all of them. And I can vouch, I've never seen anyone eating babies, drinking blood, satanic bullshit, nothing like that whatsoever. I'd be the first to talk about it if I ever saw anything. And I haven't been brainwashed and mind controlled, as Miles Johnson likes to suggest. I mean, over the years and looking at how all these people behave, Now, a lot of them in where I worked in the charities and MOD were Freemasons, absolutely. They didn't keep it a secret. So we know there was all the Freemasonry stuff going on everywhere. But that much was clear. And there were a few odd things. I'll go into those separately on a video. And we did have a public relations office as well at one time when we first got married for Syria. His father opened this, we just realised now it was just for, I don't know. They were setting us up to probably bring out money from Yemen before the revolution started. That's what came down to in the end, North and South Yemen. Was it Yemen or Oman? Yemen, I think. North and South Yemen, yeah. We were to open a public relations office and Yemen were paying for it. And they wanted us to get this big office in the West End, and it fell through because the revolution happened and the people that were giving us the money were gone. So it was something to do with that. They probably a last-ditch attempt, something like that. But we had the public relations office for Syria anyway, and we would get these little things to do for Syria. I've done a little separate video. I'll do that of my visits to Syria and things like the Secret Service and all that. Oh gosh, it's all I thought it was all exciting anyway. But you know, when you're young, you live dangerously. Having machine guns shoved in the back of your head. Yeah, it was great. So I saw the privilege, and I saw the snottiness, and I saw the greediness, and I saw the way they treat people as dogs, and you know, no respect for poor people whatsoever. They actually detest poor people. This is what I found with rich people. They actually detest poor people. I found that out over and over and over again. That used to make me sick. Because I'm a bit of a humanitarian. I hate what's happening to the world and people suffering, starvation. It kills me. I hate all that. So anyone, I mean, I know people with diamond mines, Jewish people who own diamond mines. I've called them out on their greediness, you know, as best friends. So I'm going to be hitting these people hard when I go back to Sri Lanka for the end of the year, hopefully before Christmas or soon after. It's definitely going to happen in the next couple of months. So I'll be hitting all these people hard for money to help the people in Sri Lanka, all these big rich people that I know. I'll be hitting them hard. I won't be hitting normal people or begging on the internet or scamming decent folk, normal everyday people out of their last pennies, you know. I'll be hitting these rich bastards, making them do their duty, and if anyone can get blood out of a stone, I tell you, it's me. So I saw a lot of that, but as I said, that's about it. So I can go into the stories, the Freemason stories, in another video. What happened at the work? A couple of the people that go missing. A couple of people died mysteriously. Not saying things like that don't happen. My solicitor died very mysteriously, and a couple of people who put in reports to me died mysteriously. So yeah, that goes on, definitely. So all these people who say, oh, the government's after me, they're going to kill me. If the government was after you and they wanted to kill you, you'd be brown bread a long time ago. Absolutely. They don't mess about. So I can come up with some real stories. I'll tell you how, I can show you and tell you how the government work, their tactics. I've got a lot of examples. I know some would say, oh, she's a grass, she grasped somebody who was stealing money from bankers and all that. No, the thing is, I was just qualified then, and that was one of my probably second job or something, working my way up the ladder. I saw just right and wrong, stealing was wrong, basically, and I was loyal to whoever paid my wages and did the job I was paid to do, and by law I couldn't have let that go. But it's actually better to get in the position of trust in organisations and then actually make a big change that counts. That's how I looked at things, the bigger picture. So I was working my way up the ladder to do things like that. So I stopped a lot of abuse in companies and stupid contracts, taking advantage of people, bullying, harassing women, all the rest of it. I stopped a lot of this in jobs. So I looked at those bigger pictures, and I mean, but nowadays I don't care if people can steal from bankers. Yeah, all the better now. I know how greedy and what the world has been doing. You know, they deserve what they get, and anyone who can get anything back, yeah, I'm delighted for them. You know, there's good criminals and bad criminals. Some Robin Hoods are good. I'm not saying I condone anything. You know, nowadays I probably wouldn't. I don't know what I'd do. I wouldn't be. I mean, I've let loads of people away with loads of things. I mean, there was one woman, you know, I've caught people stealing a lot, but it was just like a little thing and a one-off. I'd turn a blind eye, I'll give them telling off and forget about it. Don't report those kind of people. I mean, this same billionaire used to tell me to deduct 40 quid or something from his housekeeper's wages. And I'd say, what for? He'd say, oh, she broke a crystal glass. And I'd say, for God's sake, you can't, I'm not doing that. And then we'd have this big debate, and I'd say, well, if you're going to treat people like that, you're never going to get any loyalty. You need to look after the loyal staff and treat them well, and you'll get loyalty in return. He was a vicious pig. I hated him. Everyone hated him. I eventually told him where to go and walked out. But he really liked me. Not because I used to stand up to him, I didn't care. Because I could get the same wages anywhere. The conditions were great. We worked in a big mansion in Belgravia. And he was never here. He was away for 9 months of the year, so it was good that way. But when he was here, he made up for it. I tell you, the other girls, he had a secretary, his wife had a secretary, and some various cleaning, housekeeping staff, and he had mansions, and he'd staff in all of the mansions. You know, I did all the paperwork for them, paid all the salaries in different countries and things like that. And even with all those mansions, when he used to go away, he'd stay at the Four Seasons Hotel. He never stayed at his mansions, even though they were fully staffed and prepared, ready. What a waste. Absolute waste of money, and it's not fair. I hate seeing people live like that, and then you see people starving with no water a few thousand miles away. I could never understand this concept from day one since I was a child, and I started seeing how rich the Catholic Church was and wasn't helping any of these people around the world. Then you see how rich people are, and then I got into finance, saw how rich people were, then I was married into the government and the richness, and saw how they treated poor people, and it's given me a lot to think about, I tell you. A lot. So, no, don't grass people up who are stealing from the Illuminati will be the next bloody headline. So I don't really belong to any circle, and I seem to wind a lot of people up the wrong way, because when I make a comment, it's based on fact, because I know, but it seems to really wind people up, and that's why I get a lot of flack. It's not because I'm nasty, it's because sometimes I do contradict people, or I do say, well, you know, I know for a fact that's not true, and if you look here, nothing major. I don't even do that. I say it in my videos. I don't even comment like that. But I think people don't realise how much I actually do know. So instead of abusing me, they could be using me for information, valuable information that can be used in a lot of circles, you know, and I have my own ET experiences as well, which brought me into that world of big mistake. Keep it to yourself, how are you? Anybody out there? Try to find out what's happening yourself. No one else can tell you. No one else will be able to tell you anything. You're the one that knows. They don't know more than you do. I found that out. They'll make it up and charge you for it, and then when you don't want to pay, kick you in the gutter. That's what, basically, that sums it up. So I know what a lot of these charlatans are up to as well, so I seem to know a lot of things and can uncover a lot of people, but it just gets me into trouble all the time. Not on purpose, I'm just trying to set the record straight about things, not in a nasty way either. I'm not bullying my attitudes and, you know, opinions. You must believe me. I don't bully anyone. I give out the information. It's there if they want it. If they don't want to believe it, they don't have to. But they don't have the right to beat me down and say they're right and I'm not. If anyone is in a position to know what these people are about, it is me. I've been close to a lot of different circles, a lot of different governments, and close for years, not just brief encounters here and there, numbers of years, decades. So, you know, people could be using this information, but instead they'd rather just beat you down. Great truthers, aren't they? Brilliant. Oh, it's great being part of the truther community. It's brilliant. You know, and I do get a lot of flack from so many different circles. A lot of them were created and started by Miles Johnson. He included me as a target, calls me a targeted individual. When I said I'm not, I do not believe this. Please don't say that. I got them as enemies. She's refusing to face up to it. She doesn't know what's happening under her nose. She's stupid. She's this. She's turned against us. They're paying her to turn against us. All this shite. And the UFO stuff, they think because I see UFOs and have experiences that I should believe every other piece of nonsense that they throw at you. And when I don't, they all get nasty. And then you've got all this hoaxed, Hampstead nonsense. I didn't believe it from day one. I know these people. I knew Belinda McKenzie. I know Miles Johnson. I knew them a long time. I know they're complete scammers, 100%. So as soon as I saw them popping up with things, I knew straight away. I didn't fall for it for a second. I don't know how anyone could fall for this. Children were obviously rehearsed and just repeating it. You know, so much wrong with that. So I got the flack for speaking out on that. For saying, if you say, oh, this is nonsense, that's something stupid, or you don't believe that, or ask questions, you're called a paedophile, you're called a Satanist, you're called this and that and the other. Then somehow I criticised the other group, and then they had them all on my case. You know, so I don't belong anywhere. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate it a lot. A lot of you may not agree. That's fine. It's a bit mishmash because I tend to do things in clips when I think about it. I don't actually sit down and work on something for hours. I just do little minute clips when I think about something to say or something reminds me, and I think, oh yeah, I must mention that. So thank you all for listening in. I do have a lot of valuable information. I will be doing videos very soon, going over each thing individual with, you know, the evidence that I've got and putting those together, and, you know, putting out what I know. It's just what I know. It's not what I think. It's not my opinion. It's what I know. And I'm putting it out there. That's all it is. Not buying any, not selling anything, not begging, not scamming, not bullying anyone into believing anything. I'm just putting the information out there, which is my duty to do. And, you know, if people don't speak up when they see something wrong, just turn a blind eye, which, you know, we're all guilty of doing for too long. And if that's going to stop the freedom of speech, that's not a good sign either. You know, why should we let this small few of sick bastards control freedom of speech? Because we're scared of the repercussions. Not scared, just can't be arsed. Life is too hard, life is too short. We've all got enough to worry about. That's the reason. Really, my reason anyway. I cannot be arsed with this shite. It's one thing I've stood up for all my life. I hate being called a liar. And I hate being accused of something that is absolutely not me. I will fight to the death to clear my name. It's one thing. I mean, people can call me all the names under the sun. I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm the other. But do not accuse me of something I did not do. Bad move. And if people who know me would know that, if they knew anything about me, they would know that. Because I will fight to the death to clear my name. And most of the, you know, stuff being put out there are by these sicko trolls, not by actual victims of me, because there aren't any. Absolutely not. just a correction there. When I said Daniela Westbrook, I meant Kerry Katona. These all look the same to me, I don't know. Yeah, I just thought rather than edit it and spend time, it takes me ages to do a video. I have to cut out so many things. Oh, can't say that. I have to cut it so many times and it takes me a couple of days to do a 10-minute little talk. Have to start making notes and do things in order. So I'm in character on it. They look a little bit the same, except one has a nose. Oh yeah, to throw the cat really among the pigeons, Brian Harvey. Now, I'm not condoning what you did or anything, not condoning anything, but I just want to point out that I'm a fair person, and this Shaun Attwood guy, now he only got, I think it looks like 4 to 5 years, and he's back when he should have really got life, you know, for dealing with ecstasy. He was a big smuggler, big person in the game, and now he's back and he's right in the middle of conspiracy land, selling books, doing talks, all the rest of it. Now, I just find it unfair that you got the flack you did for making the one comment. I'm only saying, not on your side, nothing like that. I'm a fair person. I just think that's unfair. I just wanted to point that out to you. You're probably not on that wavelength yet, but you might be able to use that. I'm only saying it because I think it's fair, because now that he's brought Ike in there, something going on, so you better watch your back. Be careful who you mix with. As you found out over the year, I was right about all the people I said. They've all gone by the wayside now, one by one, because the work's already been done on most of them. You need to listen, look at that before you believe what you're being dragged into. Do the research on the person first. That's all you need to do, and you'll see what people are saying. Don't be getting sucked in by all of these. But there is something fishy with all this, and you're going to need to keep your wits about you. I can see it, and a few people can see it, and it's not fair. I don't think it's fair anyway. So good luck. I think you're going to need it. Your problem is, Harvey, you've been mixing with the wrong people and being sucked in. If you had a genuine case and you want the word out, you should have really gone to the biggest people who have respect for, you know, whistleblowing. There are a couple of people who you can rely on who only interview good people and good cases, but going to the likes of Richie Allen and David and all these kind of people, they haven't got a good reputation for passing on true cases when you get all the other people getting involved and everything else. Go to proper journalists, they would have done it. There are a few who just stick to the facts and the truth and would have got it out then. That would have got you on the ladder much better than what's happened. You got dragged down, and by mixing with these unmentionables, people will get the wrong idea about you too. So, oh God, he's mixing with him, he can't be much good. And that's your problem. You've been mixing with the likes of, well, you know, they've all been outed now over the year. These people are no good as witnesses, no good for your credibility. Well, that's the main thing. If you've got a genuine case, you should have stayed away from all of these people. They drag you down, and your case will be worth nothing in the end, even if it was worth something. Well, that's what happened to you. Sorry, but that's what happened. I know exactly, because I've been in the same boat. I did exactly the same myself. Went to the wrong clown at the beginning, and once you're on that ladder, you can't get off. And that's exactly what happened to me. So the same people reveal themselves over and over. I've seen the same people do it to numbers now, and then on you and everybody else. So a lot of us have seen it. Same people doing it. Absolutely. Either they're just badness, people looking for drama, or they're being paid to do what they're doing, to cut any real evidence there dead so no one will listen. And you're on that train, then you can't get off. So I've seen the same people pull the same stunts on everyone else. This is why my information is valuable. Don't talk through my arse. I've evidence of everything I say about these people. either in texts, messages, videos they've done. I have all the evidence. There is actually a police investigation going on at the moment, and I will be working with other people in combined cases against certain people. It's the only way to do it. If there are more than one or two, it just adds more. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing at the moment. But it's taken 9 years of shite and grief from these same people, still doing what they're doing, still cockroaching around, living in the sewers. Same people. Nothing's changed in all that time. It's just getting worse. There's more of them now. You know how they breed? Vermin. Okay, well, that's it for me. Bye for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.